Good afternoon, guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to put together a welding cart. I'm not going to go over how to put this welding cart together necessarily, but this is a project that I've had in the back of my mind for a few months now, and well, I was able to scrap and scrounge some material together over the course of the last few months. Mostly what I'm going to be using is this well, to be quite honest, it's Chinese steel because it doesn't even measure out to anything fun. It's something stupid like 1 3/16 inches wide by not quite 2 inches tall, or maybe tall and wide. I don't know. But this is the material I'm going to use. The biggest reason that I need to put together my own welding cart instead of using something that I could get at pretty much any lawn, not lawn store, but like a Tractor Supply or some other hardware store or something like that, is because the majority of welding carts are really long and skinny. And I have a pretty small space, as you can see behind me. This is pretty much the entire shop that I run my racing program, and what little bit of fabrication and everything else that I do. And all that happens right here in this really small space. So it's about 12 foot wide by maybe 25 foot deep. So I do have a space in the backyard. It's a 2-car carport that I intend to close in, but I'm no carpenter or general contracting laborer, and I just have really very little experience with that kind of stuff. But maybe I'll leave that for another video, and you guys can laugh at me for that. So let me show you real fast some of the stuff some of the reasons why I'm building my own. So right here, this is, I guess if you're looking in from the main door of the garage, this is on the right-hand side, almost all the way up to the front wall. This started out as it's actually, like, those legs come out, and the tabletop will actually fold flat to the wall. And the original intention was that this was going to be like a parts staging area or whatever for stuff that I was working on, and I ended up needing to do some welding, and I slapped the welder up there, and I actually really liked it, and I got a little stool that puts me at just the right height. So right now you can see I've got this is a piece of just some 11 gauge hot rolled garbage, and I use that as kind of a grounding pad. And it works out really well. So, well, the intention is I'd like to have all of that space be used and get that welder off there. And then also, even as small as the space is, well, I really don't have a way to get to every corner of the garage with the leads that I have for this. So building a cart that will allow me to put both the TIG welder and the MIG welder on it and roll it around just about any spot would be really nice. So as you can see over here, here's the MIG welder. It's a Hobart Handler 140. It's been really good to me so far, and I do have it on a cart, but as you can see, it's one of those generic long and skinny carts, and so the idea here is that we're going to end up with the bottles actually next to the machine instead of behind. So that's the goal here. So to start off, I took some real kind of rough estimate measurements of the two machines. The intention is actually the Hobart's actually going to be on top because it's a MIG machine, and it's got one of those like flip up doors so that you can get to the wire, and then the Lincoln is actually the TIG welder. And as much as I use the TIG welder, it actually is going to make more sense to have it on the bottom so that MIG welder is more serviceable. So I had to, so I took some measurements, and then this is a really bad drawing of my folding, I guess, welding station, if you want to call it that. So it's 34 inches tall. So just some really rough math. 14 inches tall for the Lincoln and 12 and a half tall for the Hobart left me at 26 and a half inches, so I had 7.5 inches to play with to be able to get it under that cart. So I am going to be using some casters, so those account for 3 3/4 inches. So then I only had, well, not quite 4 inches to deal with. So yeah, so then the idea here is that the Lincoln will go on the bottom, and then the Hobart's going to go on the top, and then my 2 cylinders are actually going to be next to it. So, and I may make some handles or something like that. So, yeah, so without doing any more jibber jabber on my part, I'll go ahead and we'll get to it. And this right here is this Chinese metal that I got. This stuff comes from my day job. Well, we used to get these crates in all the time for the product that we deal with, and they would come in these crates that were built in this material. So we had a whole bunch of this stuff for a long time. So I ended up, and then we just threw it away, really. So this stuff was free for me to use. Anytime you have a project like this, then you know, like, I mean, I've always been really budget minded, so I kind of hate spending money in general. So yeah, anytime I can get my hands on some free material, you know, like, free is for me. So yeah, so let's get. All right, so far I've got the base of this welded together, and you can kind of see what's starting to come around now. Basically, you're going to have welder here and cylinders here instead of having cylinders back here. So, and so right now the plan is I'm going to grind all of these welds down on the top surface, and I'll probably go ahead and do the bottom as well, and so that I have a good place to put my uprights. So, and the uprights are going to go like this, and I'll have one at each position to support the top welder, and then also I'm going to have, it'll be kind of like a pseudo railing for the cylinders, and then that way I can have some way to secure those in. So I'd love to be able to put some like drawers or something along those lines on this, but the reality is that I really don't have the time or the budget to get into some of the hardware that's involved with getting drawers together. So I don't know. The good thing about projects like this is that you can always go back and add more. So we'll keep going. Got a fresh flap wheel on for this. That always makes things a lot nicer. So basically, I just had this terrible thought that if I don't test fit this TIG welder down in this hole before I get it all zapped together, that I might have, I don't know, missed a measurement or something. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to get the TIG welder over here so that I can stick it in its home. Good news is it fits about like I was hoping it to, so I'm gonna have to make a floor so that it'll come up. Maybe I'll do a couple of supports instead of like a sheet metal floor. It might make more sense. I'm still not exactly sure how I'm gonna support the cylinders, but anyways, just come on. Take that knob off. Back out the front. Now I gotta be honest, doing that on the floor really sucks. I think maybe one of my next projects is gonna be a stand for my saw. I guess the measurement should have been 11-ish, or like not quite 11. Like a surface plate here at the house, there's not really a great way for me to make sure this thing is true, so I'm going to kind of guess at it, and then I'll stick it on the ground here and see how well it does. As far as the on the table, it's not too bad. I'd say, all things considered, really not bad, so couple heavier tacks on these and call her good. I don't see a reason to bolt these on. It's not like I'm going to service them. If I have to, they're cheap enough that it really doesn't make any difference because they're Chinese from eBay, so I'll just cut them off and weld new on. I realized sometime late this afternoon that I didn't have any more battery on my phone, and all of the space on my little knockoff GoPro was completely full. Well, I mean, I guess it's just growing pains with putting together videos for the first time, so I do apologize, but I was able to get the cart mostly together. I would say it's probably 95% there. Um, One of the things that I do for me just seems to work the best is I tend to set these things up in kind of mock-up, and then I'll even use it for a little while, and then I'll blow this all back apart after using it a few times and finalize anything that I just absolutely cannot stand, or change things that that need to change. Like there's just some finishing touches, like capping off these, but that kind of makes for like a good TIG welding rod storage or something like that. So that's something to keep in mind. That maybe that's what that needs to do, so it might stay open. I don't know. But yeah. So, and I'll pick a color at some point to paint this thing, and it'll probably be black. But if you have some fun color ideas, let me know. And yeah, I guess that's it for this episode. I hope you're liking the videos and the way the channel's going. So, and I don't think I'm gonna do too many more. Like, I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe let me know if you like shop equipment type stuff. I can throw some videos like that in, kind of like this. Or if I need to stay more, race car oriented, then I can do that too. So, but anyways, thanks again, and well, I'll talk to you guys next time.